5 to the power of 3 means 5 times 5 times 5. The 5 is called your base. What's the 3 called? Maggie? Exponent. So that little number on the top right corner of numbers are called exponent. Alright. On the test, make sure you don't write it like a 53. Okay? If it's an exponent, it should be a little smaller, like a superscript. And then the whole thing together, what do you call that? Yep. A power. Okay? So people sometimes mix up and say 5 to the power of 3. That's actually a wrong saying. It's 5 to the exponent 3, and the whole thing is a power. Okay. So we talked about negative base. So negative 2 in bracket to the exponent 4 means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which gives you the answer positive 16. Okay. If the negative sign is on the outside, then it's just negative 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is negative 16. And then if there's no bracket, it means the same thing as if there's a bracket but not around the negative sign, then it's again negative, and then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is negative 16. Okay. You guys see the difference between when the negative is on the inside and when it's on the outside? Okay. If it's an odd exponent, it doesn't matter if it's inside or outside. If it's an odd exponent, a negative number will always stay negative. Okay, and so you can see it's negative regardless. Okay. Integers actually have a power of 1 as well. So 5 to the power of 1 is just 5. Okay. And same thing, 12 is the same as just 12 to the power of 1. Okay. So we can write it in power form like this. When you write negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 in power form, make sure you do put that bracket around that negative 2. Okay, so a few quick examples. So what would this be if I write this as power? For 1a, Kadrian. Oh, 8 to the power of 5. Thank you. Okay, what about B? Isabel?
Negative 8 to the power of 2.
Okay, negative 8 to the power of 2 like this?
No
Brackets,
brackets.
right. Okay, so you have to remember the brackets. That's your base. Your base is negative 8. Okay. Negative 3 to the power of 3. So if you write this out, this is going to be negative 3 times 3 times 3, which gives you, yeah,
Negative 27.
negative 27. Kazaya, you copying this down? Okay. Negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Okay. Aisha? Yeah, I saw you got it. You were using your calculator. So negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Oh, sorry. I saw you punching onto your calculator. I thought you got the answer. Okay, yep, Alexander? Negative 125. Good. Okay, negative 4 to the power of 5. So first off, positive or negative? Yep, negative. That's right. Odd exponent, negative sign inside the bracket with an odd exponent, it's always going to be negative. Okay. So 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. What's that? Oh, actually, on a calculator, the exponent button. I'm going to go over that with you guys too. It's either a hat like this or a button like this. Okay, this is your exponent button. So for example here, I would do bracket negative 4, close the bracket, and then I press this to the exponent 5. Okay, and then I get negative 1024. Okay. What about this one? Negative bracket 6 bracket square. Is this positive or negative? Those who say positive? Those who say negative? Good, because the negative is outside. So it's negative 6 times 6, which gives you negative 36. Okay. So the key to this lesson, this part, is just making sure that is that negative sign inside the bracket or outside the bracket. Okay, you guys tell me the answer. 2E. Participation. Okay, Abram. 128. Thank you. F. Leandro? Positive or negative? The negative sign is inside the bracket. Yeah, so this means negative 9 times negative 9. Yeah, so 2 negatives make a... Yeah, so then it's positive 81. So this, if you write it out, it means negative 9 times negative 9. Like that. Okay, and so 2 negatives will make a positive. G.
For F, because the exponent is even.
Yeah. Yeah, because for even exponents, every 2 negatives make a positive. Every 2 negatives make a positive. That's why if the exponent is an even number, you're going to get a positive. Okay, this one, a tricky one. Jenny. 8. Okay, let's see why it's positive 8. So I have the negative sign on the outside. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then 2 negatives make a positive. So that's why your answer is 8. Okay. Now what about H? I have a negative. This was actually on your last test in chapter 1. Okay, so just recapping this. Negative sign on the outside, and then negative 2 to the power of 4. So negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which gives you
16.
positive 16. Alright, and then negative with a positive, you get negative 16. That's your answer. Okay. So, Kadrian, let's say I have negative 8,724 to the power of 2008. Is this going to be positive or negative? Positive. That's right. All right, because even exponent. And the negative sign is inside the bracket. Okay. So, because even exponent. Okay. Any question on this first page? Oh, good. Okay. Moving on. Zero and negative exponents. Zero and negative exponents. This used to be in the grade 10 curriculum, and then in the new curriculum they moved it to grade 9. Okay, so but in the grade 10 course you'll probably go over this still, so keep it in mind. It's the same thing, it didn't change. A zero exponent is still a zero exponent. So if you learn this now, it will help you in grade 10 when you do this topic again. So anything to the power of 0 equals 1. Right? And then anything to the power of negative exponent, it means to flip the base. Okay? Okay, it means to flip the base. Flip the base. Okay, for negative exponents. Okay, and one very, very, very important point. Alright, negative exponents have nothing to do with negative numbers. Okay, it creates a fraction. It does not make an answer negative. Okay, keep that in mind. It's very, very important. Oh, Adam, did you get a package?
Yeah.
Oh, you got one? Thank you. Okay. Okay, so what's 8 to the power of 0? Jonathan? 1. Okay. What about negative 8 in bracket to the power of 0? Okay, think about this one. Negative 8 in bracket to the power of 0. Okay. Who says that? Okay. Yeah. Still 1, Adi says. That's right. Okay. But what about this? Negative 8 to the power of 0. Okay. Who says 1? Who says negative 1? Okay. Let me ask again. Oh, I like that. Okay, but from the last time I checked, I think there's like about 25 of you in here. So I didn't see 25 hands. Who says this equals 1? Who says negative 1? Who heard me but just not sure? Okay, thank you. So I'm not being ignored. Negative 1. Yeah. Alright, why? Well, if you take a look at these two, notice the difference. This one, your base is negative 8, and so your whole base is raised to the power of 0. But here, your base is just 8. 8 is raised to the power of 0. So not the negative sign. So that's why it's negative and then 1, so you get negative 1. Okay, so this was a tricky one. A lot of people get tricked with this. Okay. Let me do. Okay, so this one, 4 to the power of negative 1. What's my base here? What number is my base? 4. Good. If I flip my base, as we said, negative exponent, I have to flip my base. So when you flip 4, what do you get? What do you think? When you flip the number 4, what do you get? 1 over 4. 4 is the same as 4 over 1, so when you flip it, you get 1 over 4. Okay. Once you deal with the negative exponent, it becomes just a positive exponent now. Okay. So that's what the negative sign does. The negative sign flips your base, and then you're just left with a positive exponent now. And then anything to the power of 1 is just itself. Okay, so answer 1 over 4. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, what's my base? Jenny? Okay, and if I flip it?
Negative, positive, 3.
Okay, just flip the base. So if my base is 4, when I flip it, it becomes 1 over 4. Oh, sorry, you guys couldn't see what I was writing. Right, if my base is 4, after I flip it, it becomes 1 over 4. Because 4 is the same as like 4 over 1. Okay, so right here, my base is negative 2. So when I flip it,
1 over negative 2.
yeah,
And the 3.
and my exponent is now just a positive 3. Okay. Are we okay with this step? Okay, so this is not my final answer. I still have to apply the exponent. When I apply the exponent, I have to apply it to my numerator and to my denominator. Alright, so 1 times 1 times 1. Yeah, 1. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Yep. Negative 8. Okay, I could write it like this, or I could write it like this, or I could write it like this. All three means the same thing. Okay, doesn't matter if I put that negative sign on the bottom, on the top, or on the side. Okay, just 3 more examples. D. What's my base right here? Someone else. Thank you, Adihi. I love your participation. Jenny?
3.
Oh, my base. My whole base.
Oh, whole base.
My whole base is 2 over 3. So if I flip it, should I say? Sorry? No? Okay, pass. Isabel? 3 over 2, right. So just flip it. Flip your base. My base right here is 2 over 3, so after I flip it, it's 3 over 2. What's my exponent now? Yeah. Positive 2. Good. Armin, what's 3 square? Oh, 3 times 3? 9. And then 2 to the power of 2? 4. Right, so 9 over 4. Yes, that's a very common mistake that people do. Very common. Alright. Let's do F first. Let's do F first, because E is tricky. Okay, what's my base right here? Somebody who I haven't heard from. Okay, you ran?
-2 over 3.
And when I flip it?
3 over -2.
Good. Kadrian, what's my exponent now? Positive 4. Good. Alright. Armin, what is 3 to the power of 4? You made the same mistake. Yes. So 3 to the power of 4 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 81, not 12. 81. Good. And negative 2 to the power of 4? Notice the negative 2 is inside the bracket, okay? Even in a fraction, it's still inside the bracket. So, Adihi? 16. Good job. Okay, I can't reduce that anymore, so that's my answer. Okay. So this one. This is the tricky one. 0 to the power of negative 2. Okay. Let me. Okay. How many of you say the answer is 0? Okay. Very confident. How many of you say the answer is 1? Alright. How many of you say the answer is something else? Okay, so all of you think it's either 0 or 1? Okay, let's see. What's my base right here? 0. If I flip my base, what's my base? Oh, any whole number, remember any integer, I can put it over 1. So even 0. 0 over 1, I flip it, it's 1 over 0. Okay, same rule applies even for whatever your base is. And then to the exponent too. If you try on your calculator, 1 divided by 0, what do you get? 1 divided by 0? Error. There's no such thing. You cannot put one person in 0 group.
So it's
No, it's not zero. It's air. But air sounds so unprofessional. We use a more fancy word. Oh, I heard it. Undefined. Doesn't it sound so much more fancier? AKA air. Alright? 0 divided by 1 is 0. 1 divided by 0 is an air. Okay? You can put 0 people in one group, if that makes any sense. But you can't put one person in 0 group. Okay? So let me rephrase that. There's only one way for 0 people to be in. There's only one way for 0 people to be in no group. I don't know how to say it to make it make sense. But yeah, you cannot put one person in 0 group. Okay, so let me just do one final one. You guys try this one. -2 over -2 over 5 square and 6 to the negative. Wait. Negative. Sorry. 6 to the negative 3. Okay, try these two. Let's see if you understood today's lesson. If you can do it, good job. -2 over 5 to the power of -2 and 6 to the power of -3. Again, you can use your calculator. If you see brackets, use a bracket in your calculator. If you don't see bracket, don't use a bracket. Okay. First off, for this one, is my final answer going to be positive or negative? Who says positive? Who says negative? Alright. Negative sign inside a bracket, even exponent. Positive. Okay. What about this one? Positive or negative? Positive. Negative. Okay. Remember the very first thing we talked about right here? Negative exponent has nothing to do with negative numbers. Okay? So, my base is a positive number. So no matter what, my answer is gonna be positive. Okay? So, let's work out the numbers now. Okay? My base is -2 over 5. Because of the negative exponent, it tells me to flip the base. So now what's my base? Let's see, somebody who has been quiet. Max. After I flip my base?
5 over
Perfect. And then, let's see, Franklin, what's my exponent now? After I flip the base? Originally it was -2, so after I flip it,
2.
just 2. Okay. And then, Onion, 5 square is? And -2 square? And that's it. How many of you got that as your answer? 25/4. Alright, awesome. And positive 25/4. Okay. This one, 6. My base is 6. After I flip it, Jonathan, what's my base? You don't need to go back. Just do it now on the spot. After I flip my base,
6.
well, my original base is 6. 1/6, right. Okay, Shenzhei, what's my exponent? It's just 3, good. Alright, 1 times 1 times 1, 1. 6 times 6 times 6,
201.
216, right? Okay, 216, and done. That's my answer. Alright, so the key negative exponent does not change your number to a negative. It depends on your base. Alright? Okay, so that's the lesson today, 26 minutes. There are some questions for you guys to try. Okay, these are all based on 0 and negative exponents. Okay, try these ones, and then for some of these, like number 5 and number 11, we can take these ones up tomorrow. Okay, but try number 1 to 11. You have plenty of time, and the answer key is right here. Okay, so you can check your answer to see if you're doing it correctly. All right, any questions? We'll take it up tomorrow.
So just that page?
Yep, just this page, page 3.